காற்றினிலே வரும் கீதம் கண்கள் பனித்திட பொங்கும் கீதம் கல்லும் கனியும் கீதம் காற்றினிலே வரும் கீதம் பட்டமரங்கள் தளிர்க்கும் கீதம் பன்னொளி பொங்கிடும் கீதம் காட்டு விலங்கும் கேட்டே மயங்கும் மதுர மோகன கீதம். Those who know Tamil will understand the lyrics of this composition. It says music is everywhere. Song is everywhere. It's in the air. It's in the trees. It's in the fruits that they bear. And similarly, it is not just true for our classical music, it's also about our classical art forms. Every art form that our glorious country has had. I want to bring your attention to this quote on screen, but focus only on the part that is on bold. This is by a politician when British ruled India, and he says, "I do not think we would ever conquer this country unless we break the very backbone of this nation, which is her spiritual and cultural heritage." Well, this is credited to the British, but what is funny is when they were coming here to oppress us, they knew exactly the point to hit. They knew exactly what would break us. They knew exactly what would divide us. They knew and they did that. And today we're still feeling the effects of it for most parts of it. And that line shows enough about the importance, about the significance of our heritage, of our culture, of our traditions, in a way where somebody who wants to take over us, all they got to do is just do away with all of this and then we are theirs anyway. I've had one of the most blessed journeys so far by working with different cultures and different musicians from other forms of music and art forms in general. And this is really not an exaggeration, but Indian classical system, Indian classical music system is really one of the most greatest and most sophisticated systems in the world of art forms. And the same goes for so many of our classical art form and their systems. To begin with, there's a little bit of background to what this means to me. I was at an age where I wouldn't even know how to count numbers or look at alphabets. I was barely 2 years old when I got exposed to Carnatic music, the South Indian form of music. And of course, there was a lot of initial struggle, but once I got exposed to it regularly, even without my own knowledge or intention, this was something that drew me. This was something that enveloped me by itself without me even having to make an effort. That is the power of something as sophisticated and as traditional as our forms of arts and music and dance and any other form of art. What makes classical arts, with the classical music in specific, because that is my line, what makes it what it is? Well, classical art forms are of enduring essence. They are timeless, they transcend boundaries, and what they mean over different times in our evolution has not changed. They are something we always go back to. They are something that we relate with. They are something that are there at times of distress. They're always there, even if we don't want them at that point, they're going to be there for us, just for us to go and have a quick peek at it and come back and feel energized, feel at complete calm, and feel very relaxed. The second point is they are living expressions of history and facts. Now, this may not be something that many of you might know. So what if I told you, in Carnatic music, there have been compositions that bring in huge aspects of science like astrology and astronomy. Would you believe it? There are compositions in our music. For example, the set of compositions by a composer from a small town in Tanjavur by the name of Muthuswami Dikshitar. He gave us a set of compositions called the Navagraha Kritis, which mean Kritis on the 9 planets or the 9 Grahas. For example, here is a Kriti that he gave us on Mars. Shringaraka Mesha Vrishchikarashyadhipatim Raktangam Ratambaradidharam Shakti Shuladharam. We know today, after so much research, after several missions to Mars, that Mars is red in color. How did this composer, in a little town near Tanjavur, in the 1800s, know Mars is red? He says in this line, the second line, those who know a little bit of Sanskrit can understand this, Raktangam and Raktambaradidharam, one who is red in color and also wears red colored clothes. It's a very unique aspect of our system where we see objects, planets, and all of these as people. So we describe them wearing clothes, wearing jewelry, having a completely distinct personality. And that's how he describes Mars here, Angaraka, as he is known in our system. He says he wears red color clothes and he is red in color. That's a little bit of astronomy. To the astrology part of it, he says he is the Adhipati, he is the lord of these Rashis, which are those Mesha and the Vrishchika Rasi. So those who are interested in astrology, even follow a little bit of these lunar and solar signs, will already know that this is very true. How did he know that? When classical music itself is such a deep art form, which demands so much of our knowledge, which demands so much of our time and energy, how did these composers have the time to learn astrology, astronomy, and even put it as part of poetry and prose, along with melody and rhythm and everything, and give us like a capsule in one short composition? Well, it is beyond our imagination. That is the power, and that is how rich our classical arts are. And this is only with focus to music. Now imagine this at different levels when we have so many different art forms coming together. Now the third point is something that we always can immediately agree. They do have a unifying aspect. They do bring us all together. Let's say we are in an alien country. Let's say we are in a land that we don't know any languages. We don't know anybody there. Their food habits are different. I'm sure all of us travel a lot to such countries and such lands. Maybe when we listen to this, Vaishnava Janato Tene Kahiye Je Peedh Parayi Jane Re. This one, or we hear Raghupati Raghav Raja Ram Patit Pavan Sitaram. Raghupati Raghav Raja Ram Patit Pavan Sitaram. These are songs that will bring us together no matter what faith we follow, what religion we follow. These are some compositions that will bring in that element of familiarity, element of identity to each of us. Today, I wanted to talk about the challenges, but more so the solutions to these challenges in a world as we know it today, as we grapple with a huge technological development, the advancement, and their connection to something as ancient as classical art forms. The challenges many people might say they're not relevant, they're not accessible, and they feel very disconnected. Now, instead of focusing on what these challenges mean, I want us to just look at how we can solve them. Well, for the relevance part of it, the content matters. I just told you about this one composition which had a little bit of astrology and astronomy. Now, those who have interest in astronomy, you don't have to know Carnatic music. You don't have to know anything about astrology, but you may just go look at these compositions to say, oh, what is this composer saying about Jupiter? What is he saying about Pluto? Because you are interested in astronomy, and that's how you slowly listen to the melody. That's how you slowly get into the aspect of enjoying these compositions. Well, this is a long process, but there is a start. Relevance in terms of the context of the lyrics. Relevance in terms of understanding lyrics in a language we understand, in a language we speak regularly, is something that we have personally seen. Now, accessibility with technology in today's world, it is completely not okay to say this is not accessible to me. We have ways of understanding. We have so many different artists coming together with brilliant ideas to give us different aspects of our music, of our art forms in ways that we can understand, we can enjoy, even if we don't have any kind of background in any of these. And it's up to us to harness the power. It's up to us to be with an open mind and watch these and learn from these and try to be inspired a little bit from each of these. For the disconnect part of it, it is the education, which is the addition of content and technology. We have the right kind of content. We are giving it in the right way. Now, when you know something, when you feel familiar about something, you are going to be intrigued more by it. You are going to want to know more by it. It is only until the point where it is still an alien topic, where it is still something unknown. So when we break that barrier, you're already going to feel a sense of comfort and familiarity. Now, what arts can do for us and what we can do for arts. For what arts can do for us, we've already seen how it is completely, takes us to a realm different from where we are. It brings us together in a way that cannot be explained in words. And it tells a story. It tells what I'm feeling at this moment and how you could be feeling at that moment. Just to give an example, if I were to sing this little piece of melody. Sari mamma gari madani ga parisa ni da ba magari madani ga parisa ni sani da ba sari ri sani mamma gari ri sa sani ni da ba madani ga pa magari sani da pari pari sani da ba magari madani ga pa sa. Something like that. At this point, I just expressed to you my emotion, no words, nothing else, and you all could feel it, and some of you could also feel it yourselves. That is the power. What can we do for our art forms? We can embrace all the technology that we can to understand more about it, to learn more about it, to have an open mind, to want to know more about it. We can educate each other. We can educate ourselves first, and then just give a glimpse of it to somebody else, someone we know. And then that's how we foster interest. Interest is the key to being involved in something. The moment we have interest in something, we are going to get completely involved in it. I'm extremely grateful to have been here. And as I wind up my talk, I'll just wind it up with a composition of one of the greatest poets, Mahakavi Subramanya Bharatiyar. Chutum vili chudarthan kannamma Surya Chandiraro Vatakariya Vili Kannamma Vanakarmai Kollu Pattakara Neela Pudavai Paditha Nalvairam Natta Nada Nisiyal Theriyum Nakshatiralgalade Chutumbili Chudarthan Kannamma Surya Chandira. Namaste. Thank you.